I'm
I
like,
know
oh, okay.
now. I know
Nothing.
Evan's game. He goes to Walmart, takes a shit, and then he goes and gets a cheesecake and he buys that, and then he comes back all over again the next day.
No, so here's what happened. So when I left for college, my the first time I came home, like my bathroom, the bathroom that was mine growing up, it had like a leak issue. And so the first time I came home for college, my bathroom was out of order. Like the toilet was out of order. And so I happened to go to the Walmart by my house and listen, really had to go. And I happened to go to the back and it was late. And I was like, this bathroom is pristine. I got to get it out. I'm going here. That ended up being it just almost became like a ritual. When I pulled into town off a road for 4 hours, like I just
You're
stopped at
sick.
the
You're a sick
Walmart,
motherfucker, man.
handled my business, and went on
First thing
about
you
wherever
do
I
when you
was
come to
going.
town, don't even go say hello to your parents. Don't say hi to anyone. You go straight to Walmart, take a big old dump.
Listen, I was for more than one reason. I was young and dumb in my early to mid 20s. So yes, I yes, Christian, that was
Dumb
me.
and full of shit. God damn it.
Hey,
The
nah,
worst,
wasn't
the worst,
full.
the worst
Wasn't full.
combo.
Wasn't full though.
I think the definition of greatness is to inspire the people next to you. It's not something that lives and dies with one person. It's how can you inspire a person to then in turn inspire another person that then inspires another person. And that's how you create something that I think lasts forever. And I think that's our challenge as people, is to figure out how our story can impact others and motivate them in a way to create their own greatness.
Welcome to the Welcome to the 3-on-3 podcast. It's your guy Hans here with my main man. I love it. My main man Ev. How you doing, Ev? How you feeling, brother? How are you feeling?
Yankees best team in the AL East right now. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking.
Got you. New York's on top again. That's what I'm hearing, right?
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. Got my other brother here, my compadre, my amigo. Lou, what it do? How you feeling, brother?
What up, hello? Shout out to Pivot Poppy on the screen with us. I see you, Ev. I see you, glass half full always.
Listen,
Listen.
Rangers in the conference finals. I mean, it's beautiful times in the city of New York. I don't want to hear any less.
Yeah, man, it's all about that major market privilege, but whatever. Love it. Love it for you guys. I love it for you guys. As always, we have the Pod Mamba in the shadows on the bench, making sure we're on point with our production, our timing. Shout out to him, as always, for making us the best podcast in the world right
I
now.
appreciate you not saying compadre and amigo with me, because that would have been too much on the nose for me, since I'm the only Mexican.
Yeah. No, man. I'm not trying to do that.
I appreciate it, Hans.
Hey, man, I got your back, brother. I got your back, regardless of your affiliations. All right. Let's jump right into it, y'all. So I wish I had a plate of crow to eat, because I am eating my words. I am here to humbly start with my apologies, my sincere apologies to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm not like these other guys out here in the sports take world who walk it back and all that. No, I was a firm non-believer. I didn't think you guys would even finish in the top 5, let alone beat the defending champs on the way to the Western Conference Finals. I'll be here to say I wasn't a believer, and I am still in shock that it happened. I'm waiting for the dream to wake up and for you guys to say, psych, it's going to be the Denver Nuggets versus the Dallas Mavericks. But no, they pulled it off, guys. The Minnesota Timberwolves are here. This is not 2004. KG's not in there. This is the Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert. Can't believe we're gonna say this, man. Carl Anthony Towns,
Give it
Nas
up for your
Reed,
boy.
Nas Reed, because you got to shout him out there. He came big. This is this Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm even having trouble saying Minnesota. It's not
Are
natural.
you okay,
It's
man?
not
You having a
natural.
stroke? What's going on?
Listen, I can't say my body. You know, when your
Minnesota's not
body
even a
won't
hard word
allow
to
you to
say.
do it. Listen, man, I'm having trouble. You know what it is, though? It's their previous allegiance to the Lakers, because you know that's where the Lakers started. So it's
Let's
just
go.
it's hard.
The Los
It's
Angeles
hard.
Timberwolves.
You're taking credit, huh? You inspired them.
Hey, the Lakers were in Minnesota. Used to be in Minnesota. So I mean, I just feel like the Timberwolves are just a sister,
man.
a sister team, sister franchise.
I
to
like
us,
that.
you know?
And as you claim them, you should give them one of your banners. I'm just throwing that out there.
But no, it's tough love. We have to let them do what they have to do it themselves. We can't enable
Oh,
them,
that's not how that works.
No,
It doesn't. It's not both ways.
No,
it's
no,
not.
no, no. There's one way.
No?
One way love.
One way street. Okay. I just wanted to clear that up. Because trying to
Don't know
clear
to
that
go
up.
from here.
No. I thought Lou, you're muted if you were saying something. That's really what caught me off guard.
Bullies.
Awesome. So let's dive into it, guys. The Minnesota Timberwolves have defeated the defending champs. And before I get to my real agenda behind this, because people were doubting me on certain rankings I had, I want to see what your guys' reaction to the Minnesota Timberwolves really showing that they're really here. They're for real. Ev, I'll start with you. I know you weren't as doubtful as I was. You really were breaking down what they were showing us defensively, and you were also showing us or telling us that Ant is here and has arrived. But should you or should we be in as much shocked as we are that the defending champs really lost this to the Timberwolves in such a manner after holding a 20-point lead in, what was that, the third quarter?
Started the third.
Started the third with a 20-point lead.
Third. So, so many places we can go with this. But first off, what an entertaining series that it was. In the span of 2 recordings, the first recording we did in the series, we were blown away by how dominant Minnesota looked within the first 2 games on Denver's floor. We come back, we record next week. We're ranking the teams in the playoffs, and all of us had Denver, I think, still as our top team in the playoffs from the standpoint of how they had responded in the 3 games after that. So coming into Game 7, I mean, it was all bets were off on what to expect coming into that game, and I think you lean into it and you're looking like, okay, that championship pedigree on their home court is going to shine through. As you stated, they come in and they're up to a 20-point lead. Well, I happened to be watching the game earlier where I learned that 15 would be the largest halftime deficit overcome in a Game 7, right? Minnesota's a 20-point deficit. So you're watching it like, oh, wow, this is over. We talked about the key to this series being Ant having a super game, right? And super games. And he's struggling, and he struggled throughout the game. But I got to give it up to Minnesota for pulling out that game without Ant playing his best. It goes back to what they looked like the first 2 games of the series, where they completely locked in defensively. Joker has 35 or 34. Jamal has 35. Nobody else scores more than 7. The rest of the entire team scores 21 points for a game. Michael Porter Jr., I think, had 7. Aaron Gordon, 4 points and 4 rebounds. KCP, I think, another 4 or 5 points. Like, they shut down everybody that wasn't Joker and Jamal in that Game 7. Your boy Cat, you got to give it up for him. 23 big points. You look at a team with Cat, Joker, and Nas Reed. You could argue Cat played the best defense on Joker during the series. And then you had role guys step up. 6 players in double digits for the T-Wolves in a game 7. I mean, this team that we had, I won't say fears, but some would say coming into this series, this team was uniquely built to go up against this Nuggets team. They showed how dominant they were at the beginning. When Denver came back and hit them back in the mouth, they didn't fold. So is it surprising? To an extent, because it's a defending champ. But you got to give out credit to Minnesota. They stood in there from game 1 of this series and showed that they weren't afraid, even when they were losing by a lot. You didn't see defeat or concern in their eyes. They continued to say, we're going to bounce back the next game, and they did so. So shout out to them.
100%, man. I was watching it in awe, and during his post-game interview, he said it, poise. I was surprised at their poise, because given the pressure that comes with a game 7 away, so it's not like they were at Minnesota, right? It takes a lot of poise to perform and to step up. And what shocked me was I expected Ant, to keep his poise. Even Cat to a certain extent, because he's been in a playoff atmosphere before, right? But to see the others who, step up and did what they were supposed to do, who contributed, you laid the stats out, Ev. It was just amazing to see. Before I go into any more of it, Lou, your takes on Minnesota pulling it out against the defending champs, man. What did you see? What did you learn?
I mean, this is a prime example where coaching matters. We're being able to sit there and go back into a game plan and set your team up with the tools for success. And not just that, also reminding them of what their identity is. You can't go into this game trying to go have an offensive showdown with Denver. You're going to lose every time. What brought you here? Your defense. And we expected Ant to not have, a series full of 40-point games. He's not there yet. Yes, he's showing us what he can do. But everybody else, really matters in terms of stepping up, and chiefly one of their major X factors being Connolly, really being their floor general to be able to come there and give the team that poise. And we see how they're able to have some more success with him on the floor, for one, and then also another rising star that we see him in Jaden McDaniels, and him stepping up at the time that they needed it most. But Ev, you mentioned one of the key things as to what we knew would be imperative for Denver to do in order for them to win, and not having guys like Michael Porter Jr. or Aaron Gordon, who were those pieces that help give the Minnesota issues in the losses that they had. They were non-factors. And then, to be real, Minnesota already had the confidence that they could beat the Nuggets at home, because they did it, and did it twice. So perfect storm. Am I surprised? Yeah. Again, this is a team with championship pedigree and the best player in the world. And we've seen how they've overcome and how they've showed out throughout the playoffs and throughout the season. So, but as they always say, right, what wins championships? And it's usually defense. And shout out to the best defensive team in the NBA.
So I have a question for all you guys. So the Nuggets at one point were winning by 20 points, 22 points, right? And this was like early in the third. When did you guys realize that the Wolves were about to pull it out?
I realized it when it was in the 4th and they made that little mini run to take it from 5 to like 8.
Mm-hmm.
When Nas Reed came in and he had a timely bucket. That's when I knew. I was like, oh, this is done. The momentum has completely shifted. It was over, because one thing, credit to Minnesota, Ev alluded to it. What Minnesota did defensively was they dictated Denver's offense. What Denver predicated itself and prides itself on is the anomaly that they are offensively, because you never know what Jokic is going to do, who he's going to get involved, how they're going to move it. Similar to what I'd say the motion offense that Golden State was running in the early years, right? With all the brush screens and the backdoor cutting, it gave defensive fits, nightmares to teams. And that's what Joker was doing. Minnesota literally said, you're going to be a post team. You're going to throw it into Joker, and that's all you're going to do, because we're going to lock down everybody else. And that's what Denver was doing, throwing it into Joker. And that's when I knew it was over. When Nasri came in and made those impactful runs that brought it from like a 5-point lead late in the fourth to 8. And I was like, oh, they're not doing it.
So it wasn't when Rudy did that bullshit 20-foot fadeaway shot over Jokic.
No.
Oh
I
man,
I knew that's what you were. I knew that was the setup.
He prayed to the French gods and he just threw up a prayer.
No, listen, when I saw that, I was like, jeez.
I was gonna mention it for you because I felt that that's where you were going. Although for me, honestly, it was the mixture of the ant steal and the first of the 2 ant threes. When I was like, okay, they've taken the identity of this game back. Because even after the 19-3 run, you get into the fourth quarter, you're like, okay, Denver's gonna weather the storm, right? Minnesota's fourth quarter offense is where I worry the most. But once they got basically 2 steals at half court, and then when Ant got the first 3 to fall, I was like, okay, they've taken the identity of this game, and nobody else has anything left on the Denver side. I'll be honest, Pop Mom, I thought you were going to ask us about the spirit, the significance of Ant's 6 for 24 game. I thought you were feeling that.
No, that was his Game 7 2010 Finals Kobe game.
That's where I thought you were going with it. So I shouted out for you.
You still see it on Twitter. Everyone focuses on that stat line, right? They see the 624, like, oh, he played a shit game, but he did way more than that. He played the defense he was playing on Jamal Murray, like the steals and all that changes the momentum of games. Like Kobe had a shit game against the Celtics, but he grabbed 15 boards. Like back then, that's almost unheard of. You don't see shooting guards getting 15 rebounds like that, but it helps the team. Whatever you do to help the team.
I knew it was over one. I just seen the lack of perimeter. Like they couldn't get a bucket from 3. I was like, yeah, this is Denver's offense. If they can't get you on the perimeter to help open up that offense, is exactly what Hans mentioned. And now if you're pigeonholed into this and you're forcing Joker to be your only playmaker because you're not worried about Aaron Gordon had no threes. This entire series, he's hit at least 2. He didn't even have an attempt. Michael Porter Jr., we 1 for 6.
He disappeared.
Jamal Murray, 4. Yeah, exactly. Jamal Murray, 4 for 12 from 3.
You guys got ahead of me. I was about to bring something up too. I was like, let me read you these numbers: 22.8 points per game, 55.3% field goal percentage, 48.8% 3-point percentage. And then these are the other numbers: 10.7 points per game, 37.1% field goal percentage, 32.5% 3-point percentage. Those are Michael Porter Jr.'s numbers from the first round to the second round. Just unbelievable.
I mean, Lakers don't play perimeter defense. That's what happens.
See, you keep saying that, but it doesn't make it true.
No, it makes it true. The stats make it true. They are mid to bottom of the league in perimeter defense. The stats make it true, sir. Yes, y'all can't guard nobody out there.
All right.
At all. Y'all can't guard nobody.
MPJ was doing catch and shoot, running around a pin down screen and making shit like it was nothing. He wasn't doing that against the Wolves.
I'll ask you this, not to derail us from the topic, but you bring up MPJ. We went over his contract like a month ago or so. You take this Denver team, you got 5 years now from Jamal Murray in the bubble to Jamal Murray getting hurt for basically 2 playoff runs to the Nuggets winning the championship to them now out in Minnesota, right? Now out in the second round. If you're Denver, you look at it from a Windows perspective. Are you looking at it as, okay, we took this lump, we'll be back next year? Or are you looking at it as, do we need to look to do some upgrading around Joker and Jamal, be it maybe the Michael Porter spot, be it maybe the Aaron Gordon spot, be it maybe the investment in the youngsters in the bench when we didn't bring back Bruce Brown, but Peyton Watson isn't anywhere to be seen in this series. Which way do y'all think you look at it if you're Denver and you're facing, you're here the week after, a couple of days after this loss?
So, in my opinion, you have to shore up your bench. At the end of the day, that's where you're lacking the spark from. You can't expect to win it with just Jamal and Joker doing that. But also, I don't expect them to come off of Aaron just because of what he supplies for them defensively and sometimes offensively. I also think that they're too invested in Michael Porter Jr. And to be honest, if you do float him out there, is what you're getting in return going to be much better for his value? So, with that being said, I think it leaves you with the only option to shore up your bench and figure out how you can get more production out of them. I don't think that they have to do too much radical movements. They don't have to retool too much, just a couple pieces, and they're right back in there. Because one could argue, Ev, like you said, those 2 steals from Ant-Man didn't happen. You feel me? Like the game could be different. So I don't see them needing to retool too much drastically. I just see them maybe a couple pieces tops away from
Any
getting
successful
right back to the
championship
top.
team needs to make changes around the edges. You don't necessarily have to change the core, but they can't just have Christian Brown be the only one scoring on the bench.
He's not even their scorer, which is crazy, right? Like Jackson, you would expect him, given his experience as a vet, to supply them with more offense and things of that nature. But Jackson wasn't even present. So
They had Bruce Brown last year and Jeff Green. Like Uncle Jeff was just draining corner threes like he was freaking Tim Thomas.
Thought you were gonna say Robert Ory.
Oh, come on, man.
It's too much. It's too far. It's too far. Not Big Shot Bob. It's
No,
not Big
he's
Shot
not.
Bob.
He's not to that level. Come on, man.
Okay.
Big Shot Bob is a 7-time champion.
Tim Thomas was a good one.
Yeah, Tim Thomas, the broke our hearts in
Tim
06.
Thomas is fair.
God damn it, Luke Walton. Fucking Luke Walton, man, leaving him open. God damn it.
That's fair. All right, yeah. Let's get to the other side though. So Dallas did bring down the OKC Thunder. Shea Gilly was playing his heart out, man. It was playing his heart out, but ultimately Dallas, still shocking to say defensively, man. They have been solid, bro. They have been solid. And they really, similar to what the Timberwolves did, they said, we're only going to allow you a certain number of people to beat us, right? So Lou, as an affectionate person as you are towards SGA.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna play against his cousin next round, man. Him and Nick Alexander. I was hoping they're gonna be able to face each other, man, but didn't happen.
Got you. So, what are your takes on that series? Where do you see OKC going next year? What do they need to do?
I mean, similar to as you talk about Denver, man, there's not too much radical moves you need to make. I mean, Chet, you're gonna have to work with Chet to be able to get him to be. If you're not gonna get him to be more of a force in the center, you got to bring somebody else in there that can be the big body that you need to bang down there, so you're not as soft in the paint. And
the rumor is
you look at
Valanciunas is up. Is the rumor for that? He's a available big man. But go ahead.
It's not a bad choice. There's somebody that
I like him.
can score on all 3 levels. So,
Memphis should have never traded him, but continue.
3 levels. He's the 3-point threat. Now, get out my face, Lou. Get out.
Nah, he can shoot. He can shoot.
I know he can shoot the thing, but he don't do it regularly to where we're calling him a 3-level scorer now. Man, get out, y'all. Get out my face, man.
Yeah, I mean, outside of that, look, hey, I was hoping, Giddy looked decent over the playoffs, so OKC could do the right thing and use that as a bargaining chip. But now you kind of try to think of what do we do with that piece, because you do need some help. Well, coming off the bench, you do have some good young guys, but ultimately, what we expected of OKC is what ended up happening, man. You guys played great, but the youth of the team, that's kind of been the overarching story. And yeah, I mean, did they play well all season and deserve their spot, their ranking? Yeah, but when we talk about the playoffs, we talk about a 7-game series. There's some nuances that being a veteran work in your favor, especially when you slow a game down to a half-court game and you know that you're deficient in the paint in terms of your presence, and then you don't have the same amount of offense that you can bring forth on your second unit, like Dallas can do with keeping either Luka or Kyrie to be the one to run, the second unit of the organization on top of them working hard on defense. So it's they're gonna have to grow, and the front office is gonna have to look at what kind of things they can do to kind of help them. Do you get somebody like a Kyle Lowry who can run your second unit? Somebody, a Michael Connolly type of guy to come and run your second unit, to give you a little bit more of a veteran presence. But they did exactly what we thought they would do. And unfortunately, they also lived up to the expectation of being the number 1 seed that we really didn't have the most faith in. But I was hoping that they pulled it up.
So, Ev, talk to us about the Dallas point of view. Is Dallas here to stay?
I hope so, because they've exhausted all of their assets into building this team. But I have to give them credit. Daniel Gafford, 5 other teams could have had him, could have put in a better offer for him. But they got it done. They got the trade, and they got a guy who was a difference maker in this series. Derek Lively, oddly enough, how did they get that pick? They traded with the OKC Thunder. They moved up so they could get Derek Lively. They moved back to get Casey Wallace. The Thunder did. The tax that they took for that was David Bertan's contract. That's the contract that they were able to use and package and move with some other pieces, which enabled them to get Gafford and PJ Washington into the fold. So shout out to Dallas for building this foundation that is a team that now has a 48-minute identity around Luka and Kyrie. They can play their brand of basketball for the entirety of the game because of the pieces that they put in place. Shout out to Derek Jones stepping up, a career journeyman that has played hard at every stop that he's been in and has found a way to thrive here in this Dallas offense and bringing that defensive versatility to them. So this is both the best defensive and the best offensive team that Lucas had since he's been ever, yes. And so for the questions, especially coming into this season, you started hearing the murmurs of, what is Dallas doing around Luka? When is he gonna get frustrated with what's around him? You've got to give this front office tremendous credit for putting together a deep, solid team with identity. Haven't mentioned Kyrie Irving yet. A full year of Kyrie, of drama-free Kyrie, right? And, didn't even play his best in the series. I mean, he give you 12, 15, 20 minutes of Kyrie, right? Almost like he was saving himself for the end, which paid off in game 6 because some huge shots in the fourth quarter. But taking the gamble on Kyrie, in addition to the players that I named, I mean, it looks to me like this Dallas team is here to stay. 2 conference finals in 3 years, you got to give them credit. One is, fluky. Two, okay, you've got some consistency around yourself. So yeah, shout out to Dallas for what they've done. Interested to see where it goes the rest of this postseason.
It's funny, while you were saying that, I couldn't think of any other team who's had such a complete 180 PR wise compared to how they ended last season with Luka and Kyrie sitting out, and they're basically looking like they're giving up on the team and on the season, to where they are right now. Those seem like two completely different teams, two completely like different front offices. It just looks like night and day when you think about where Dallas left last season to where they are right now. Seeing Luka just dial in and, just have a commitment to that side is just crazy. I know Ev, you said you wanted to say something about OKC.
Just I would, give them their credit. They chose a path and they stuck with it. They didn't make, big moves at the deadline. They wanted to see what this team was that they had. And although it didn't get them past the second round, I commend them for it because they wanted to see it before they moved and made, when it made moves. So, okay, they know what they have with Giddey now. Yeah, I was saying beginning of the season they should trade him. I don't think he's tanked his value too much to where they can't move him. Just from the standpoint that he's young, right? They wanted to see where they can get with Chet, and they wanted to see what Jalen Williams would do in this series. So now
Which was
yeah, but now you needed to know, right? You needed to know what you had and give these kids, a chance to really taste it and motivate them going forward. So a lot of folks are gonna dump on OKC today for what they didn't do. I understand the process because at least now you're not playing with hypotheticals and theoreticals.
It's funny you say that, Evan, because there's rumors out there right now, or rumors or reports, I guess, talking about OKC Thunder hearing out other teams about Josh Giddey. So the Thunder might not even have Josh Giddey next year if they decide to get rid of him and get other players in the process. And they have all those picks, so they could obviously just replace him because he didn't really. What did he really bring to them this playoffs?
Nothing. I thought so when Ev was critical of their Gordon Hayward move, right? I thought he was insurance for Giddey. So to see that they didn't even use Gordon at all made me wonder, like, okay, so what are you really doing? Are you truly a believer in Giddey? Like, what is he showing you that we're essentially not seeing on the court? But you're right, Christian. Giddey didn't give you anything. What he did was give you a
Off the court
5-on-4
scandal
situation.
That's all he gave him.
Stop it. He gave you a 5-on-4 situation on the court because they'll fade off of him, shrink the court, and force you to do otherwise. So I hate to say it, unless, he gets in the lab with what's his name, Lethal Shooter. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see anything else happening, man. I don't see anything else happening. But shout out to Dallas. And I will say this. Shout out to SGA for literally cementing his greatness too. Because what I loved to see from him was when he saw what they were doing, he still rose to the occasion with timely shots. He still led his team, and he let it be known, like, I'm not just a regular season MVP type of guy. I'm also a playoff MVP type of guy where I can lead this team even in the playoffs as well. And I think he proved that as well. Similar to what Ev was saying, you know what you really have. Mm-hmm. So you know SGA can lead you in those situations. Now we just need to figure out how to support him. So
and just like many times where they was like, yo, what is so great about him? He does make the right decisions at the right time. And he picks his spots. And even when it's difficult shots, he still makes it like, wow. This was the best decision, and he knows how to move on the floor. I do have a question for you guys, though. Whose team is it? Is it Luka's team or is it Kyrie's team?
Oh, it's Luka's team.
It's Luka's team, 100%.
Who is the leader?
Luka, man.
Luka, 100%.
It's not even a question.
100%.
Jason Kidd.
He is. Jason Kidd. I like that. I like that. All right, y'all. Let's move on to the east side of things. East side, the best side.
No one says that. Doesn't even rhyme.
Beast Coast. East Coast is Beast Coast, bro. Come on.
East Coast is the best coast, man. Everybody knows this, man. That's where things start, bro. Come on, man. Hip hop. Just saying, man. Basketball started on the East Coast. Just saying.
I'll be honest. We need to workshop that a little more, but continue.
We don't need to. Everybody just knows it's great.
The West Coast is the Beast Coast.
First of all,
Jesus.
goodbye.
All right, y'all. The moment has come. We have to make this a safe space, y'all. Our brother has coming to the fold. It's been a long time coming.
One of us. One of us. One of us.
One of us. He has made it home. He is officially on vacation with us here in the beautiful beaches of Cancun, toes in the sand, pina coladas in hand.
Let's go. Some margaritas.
Yes, we're living it up. Evan Butler Sands, we welcome you with your New York Knicks to the off-season Poppy Brigade, son. Welcome, welcome, brother. Your team suffered a tough loss to the Indiana Pacers at home.
Yeah, we did.
In the Garden. Not only did you suffer a tough loss, you also suffered another injury to your star player, Jalen Brunson, with a fractured hand. I'm not even going to lead you with a question or word, sir. This is your time. This is your space, sir, to get it off your chest, man. Have your way, Ev. Go ahead, brother.
So I appreciate it. I have to say I'm not happy to be here, but I'm here. I am going through the stages of grief, and I am probably at acceptance at this point. Let's be honest. No excuses being made. We were hurt coming into this. How long were we going to carry on with this?
Whose fault was that?
Jaime Jaquez's fault. Thank you for reminding me. For obliterating Julius Randle's shoulder at the end of January.
Y'all didn't even want him on the team. You guys played better.
Thought this was a safe space.
Christian, let him have his space, Christian.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Evan.
It's okay. It's okay. But let's be honest. We really could have used one other player that could create his own offense in this series. Listen, the team played hard, man. The team played tremendous. The effort was there. We were just down too many bodies. And to see it get to the point where it was entirely Jalen Brunson or bust. We were outmanned and outnumbered. That game 3, when we gave up that crazy three-pointer at the end, where we had a chance to go up 3-0, but ended up going only 2-1. That was the first one that concerned me. Game 5, when we blew out Indiana, I was happy, but that concerned me then because I felt like we let out all the bullets in the chamber, so to speak. And so I was more confident about Game 6 than I was Game 7, to be honest, because, I mean, heck, once Josh got hurt, once OG was hurt, what did we have left? But really, I mean, you look at this season, and it was a fun season. I mean, it was an enjoyable run watching this team, the heart and the effort that they put into it. It just leads you to ask, though, okay, where do we go from here, right? What do we do with this roster going forward? OG, we're going to give him the big money this season, this off season. He misses a lot of games. Dante, Josh, they're already signed. Randall's already signed. Mitchell Robinson, he misses a lot of games. I for one, think we should trade him. Black Isaiah. I think with a healthy team, he's an integral fit at center. So I hope we keep him. What's that going to cost us? So when you have a team that overachieves the way that we did, right, it leads to a lot of questions to what is real about the team going forward. And so, that's where I'm at already with processing the loss. Now I give it to Indiana. They figured out around game 4 that, hey, they only have one big man, really. And we've got Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam. Maybe we should use them. And once they figured it out, they really started turning the tide of the series. So, shout out to Indiana. It's tough to see, another series between the Pacers and the Knicks after the heated rivalries that we had in the 90s, so tough to go out to them in a game 7 on the floor in the Garden, but hey, these things happen. So,
does it hurt that Reggie Miller has the last laugh? Yes or no?
I enjoy moments, and so that game 5 moment was fun. If he would have been on a call Sunday, maybe, but no, I enjoyed game 5. And I'm not even mad at this.
They gotta get the home court announcer on the call, the broadcaster. Why am I blanking? Mike Breen.
The legend.
Yeah, the New York Knicks announcer. Yeah, they had to put him on there.
Called it right down the
legend,
middle.
Mike Breen.
So I'll be honest. I say it real quick.
Super objective.
I couldn't text you all because I needed a safe space to talk about the game. So I text some other friends of mine, and
it's all right.
When we were down.
That's Christian's fault. I blame Christian for that.
I didn't even say anything. That game put me to sleep.
It's all good.
How bad that game was.
When we were down, I think 22, I said, okay, we got to get it to 15 at halftime, and we got to get it to 7 by the end of the third. We got it at 15 at halftime, and then we come out in the third, and we get it to 6. And at that point, the Garden's going crazy, and I even heard it in Mike Breen's voice. Like, he let his professionalism crack for a quick second. And then just like that, turnover 3, missed shot 3, and then a 2, and it was back to 14 like that. And I was like, this isn't that night. It was over before Jalen Brunson's hand fracture. Let me just be honest. It was over before that. I've heard folks use it as Jalen got hurt and it was done. It makes you feel better. Christian, don't tell me when it was over, okay? It was over
when
you say it's over.
It was over before Jalen's
it was over when there was reports saying OG Anunoby was gonna try to come back for game 7.
So no, you're absolutely right. And I'll leave it at that because we got to transition. When I saw Hart was gonna try to play, I was like, guys, it's too much. It's too much. So, but it's all good. It's all good. We'll be back next year. It's the orange and blue skies.
You know what did you guys in? The bravado of Knicks fans. That's what did you guys in.
I know you not talking about bravado. The basketball god said, "Oh my gosh,
I got
basketball god said you guys are hype. You guys are getting too excited.
I'm in an agreeable
space. So much.
No. I'm in an agreeable space today. Okay?
Stephen A. Smith walked in like he was the shit. It was like
it wasn't that. I saw
it was like someone going back to their old high school and just thinks that
he really did have a player walk in though. I'm like, I've never seen another broadcaster have a player walk in, but okay.
Here's the thing. This is what I realized. This is what I realized. It's not the bravado. It's that we appreciate moments. That's all it is. And each game, each night you get to go out and experience that vibe. It's a moment. Not everybody gets to enjoy the individual moments like that. And we just enjoy the moments. That's all it is. So yeah, we didn't make it to the finals. Yeah, we're not winning the championship this year. But each one of those nights, each one of those wins was a moment to be enjoyed. And listen, in the city that never sleeps, the greatest city in the world.
You took the words out of my mouth. That's what I was going to say.
Every night is a vibe.
They
put you guys to bed, so it's fine.
I think it's the culture of New York. You know, we're gonna celebrate everything. We're the greatest city in the world. You know, we have everything, so we're gonna celebrate whenever we get a chance to. And you know, I'm with that. I'm with that. I respect that.
Bing
I
bong.
respect that.
Enjoy
I
life,
respect
man.
it. I respect it. All right, y'all. Let's move on to the results, the final four, the matchups. On the East, we have the Boston Celtics going off against these Indiana Pacers. So we'll start off with the East since we're already there with the Knicks situation. How confident are you guys in the Indiana Pacers giving the heavily favored Boston Celtics a run for their money? Now, granted, per reports, Kristaps is going to be out for at least the first two games of this Eastern Conference Finals. So, do you guys think the Indiana Pacers has what it takes to give Boston a run for their money and possibly push it to Game 7 or even make it to the NBA Finals? It's up to anyone.
And I hope so.
I'll go because it's
Yeah,
fresh.
I'm
I'll
gonna
go
say this guy.
just because it's fresh. So, haven't seen a lot of Indiana in the last couple of weeks. What I will say is this: I do think we forced them to unlock layers of themselves that they weren't tapping into fully prior to this series. I saw the looks when I said Pascal Siakam is a big man. What I meant by that were two things. One, well, let me point out two things. One, remember they got him at the trade deadline, so this team is different than who they were earlier in the season, right? And they've gotten more ingrained and involved with who he is as the season has progressed. Two, a lot of what they did with us was just put him in the post, especially when he had Josh Hart or got him on a switch, and just let him go to work and got rid of all the
For his spin moves.
yeah, all the excess dribbling to get to that spot. They just got him to the spot and went and inverted with Miles Turner out shooting the three. So I say that to say that Indiana does have an identity, and they did tap into a defensive identity that could position themselves well against a Celtic team, especially one that doesn't have Kristaps at least the first two games of the season of the series. And as we've talked about throughout the season, can get a little jumper / difficult jumper heavy when you're forcing them out of their main rhythm. So if Indiana can tap into the effort, energy that they tapped into in this next series, they could give Boston some pressure. If TJ McConnell continues to not miss a shot off the bench, they could give the Celtics some pressure. So, and also the Celtics have had it easy now for about 3 months. So I think this will be the toughest test that they've had
All playoffs.
in the calendar year. Really. So, you know.
Well, I don't know, man. Those Hawks games killed them, bro. They
Well,
the
true.
Hawks games back to back, man. They
True.
But that's that's what those lemon pepper wing effects.
You know how that goes. So not
Not
you, but we've heard.
Yeah. No, not me.
I got you.
I mean, what's your take, Lou? What do you think? Do you think Celtics are gonna be rock solid and just run over them, or the Pacers gonna put up a fight?
I think the Celtics are gonna remember who booted them out of the in-season tournament. So I think that's one thing that this is gonna be that I'm sure rings fresh and true in their mind, especially as being one of the one of two losses that they've had against the Indiana Pacers this season. I think at the end of the day, the Boston Celtics, having being healthier than the Knicks, having the same level of depth as a healthy Knicks team, if not more. Yeah, KP may not be in there, but just based off of how this team is constructed, I don't think that's going to be an issue at all, especially if, them being able to uh, slow the paces down. I mean, you have premier defenders in Drew Holiday, Jalen. Well, I don't know if I'll necessarily call Jalen Brown a premier defender, but having guys like Drew Holiday and Jalen Brown, that's going to help slow things, help slow the game down a bit. Um, I'm not worried about them in the paint. Well, Al Horford still can still be a threat both inside and outside. Like it's just going to be overwhelming for the Indiana Pacers to be able to beat this Boston team as complete as they are right now, even without having KP on the floor. So, I mean. Yeah, this is a Boston series to lose, but yeah, I do think that they're gonna have a little extra motivation, especially knowing that this is the team that knocked them out the end season tournament. So they're definitely gonna come out there ready to finish this and not just finish this series on top, but also finish the series quickly.
100%. You're saying, Ev, about the Pacers?
So you bringing up the in-season tournament is a great point, because to that point we saw the best version of Tyrese Halliburton. From that point, we saw the worst version of Tyrese Halliburton. We saw him find himself to an extent during this series versus the Knicks. So I'll be fascinated to see what version is in this series against, as you mentioned, Drew Holiday and a Derek White backcourt and a Jalen Brown that can switch off and help as well. Are we going to see the aggressive one that can put up 30-point games, or are we going to see the unaggressive one that takes 9 shots in a game and scores, almost single digits? The fact that we went this long without even mentioning him is speaks to, what version of him are we going to get in this series?
I think that's 100% right. The Celtics are going to put pressure on them to require their quote unquote others to perform. And are they going to be able to live up to that build when you come up against a team that is solid on both ends? So the Celtics are going to make you work on both sides of the ball just because they're that talented of a team. I am hoping for a good series. I'm hoping for a Game 7 series. I want the Pacers to really push the Celtics. I think it's just good for basketball. I don't necessarily think that it's as sure as a thing as some people are making it out to see, just because we've seen certain bad habits come from the Celtics for these past couple rounds and even into last year. There's just some bad habits that they have. They often play down. They don't take games as seriously as they should. They lose games on their home floor that they shouldn't lose. So I don't think that the Celtics are going to really run away with the series as most people think they are. And given that the Pacers are the highest scoring team in the league, or one of, it's going to be a good series. I think it's going to be a good series.
I
But
think
let's
they're
move on
both
to the
like
West.
one. I think they're both like 1 and 3 in offensive scoring.
Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's going to be as much as a pushover as people are saying it. But let's move on to the West Coast real quick. We have the Wolves versus the Mavs. I think this is going to be a spectacular series. I don't even know. Yeah, it's going to be a great series. I'm excited to see all the different matchups you can name. Like, people are making to think of Ant-Man calling out Kyrie, right? Now he got to go guard Kyrie. In my head, I'm like, nobody can guard Kyrie. But hey, I applaud you for having that baller mindset and saying, I got to go do this against Kyrie. So I think that's going to be great. But you really need to be worried about Luka. That's what I said in my head. That's what you need to worry about, because who's going to take care of that, man? But who's going to take care of you too? Like, who's going to guard Ant-Man? So it's gonna be a great series. I really don't know. I don't know. I would like to see Dallas pull it out just for selfish reasons. He didn't win MVP, but he could win Finals MVP, right? Or
Luka's precisely the reason why I don't want Dallas to win.
You don't want Luka to get Finals MVP. You don't want him.
Let's go, Hans.
I'm here for Kyrie.
We both thought Luka should have gotten MVP this year.
No, I'm only if it wasn't my guy Shea Gilly, it was Joker. But yeah, I'm here to see Kyrie flourish. I would love to see Kyrie get one without LeBron. But
Jersey, stand up, baby. And yo, shout out to this, yo. This playoffs where it's set up right now answers the questions that we were asking 2 episodes ago. Is this a changing of the guard? If you think about it, we're about to have a new superstar champion. We're really about to have a new superstar champion. You know, Luka hasn't won it. Ant hasn't won it. Neither Tatum, Brown, Halliburton. So we're about to have a new superstar ascend to the ranks of having a ring on their finger.
Pascal Siakam wins it.
Yes, 2. He'll make him have 2. Is he the best forward ever? Is he gonna be on the list?
Just saying, man. Two
Could you imagine
rather,
the conversation?
Hans, who would you rather win an NBA championship? Pascal Siakam or Cat?
Good one.
Pascal, 100%.
I already do where I was going.
What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here?
It's time for JT and JB to go get their championship.
Negative.
I don't think
no
they can
one
beat the
wants that.
West.
No one wants that, dude.
The East
Everyone here doesn't want that.
You don't want that. Nah. Yo.
The East isn't
Boston,
winning
let's
this
go,
year.
baby.
Nah.
Boston, let's go, baby.
Go to hell.
Good luck. On that note, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. As always, if you would love some additional content, a little more off the wall content, slide on over to the OVO slide, OVO shuffle over. I'm still using that because it's still relevant, baby, all summer long. Do that over to the YouTube channel and check out our OT along with our full segment. We appreciate you guys so much for joining us. Thank you. We'll see you guys next week. What's up, guys? Thank you for listening to the 3on3 podcast. Please be sure to give the episode a thumbs up if you loved it. Hit that subscribe button, and last but not least, hit that bell so that way you're notified every time we drop a new episode. Hit us up on our social media, guys. You can find us at the 3on3 podcast on IG and Twitter. If you want to give us any ideas or suggestions, shoot us an email at the 3on3podcast@gmail.com. We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. See you guys next time.